Daisy scanned the faces at the wedding reception in search of a short, wrinkly, bald man with a grumpy face. There was no man with that description, though there were 2 grumpy-looking women sitting at a table near the house. Geez, she hoped she didn't look like that when she got old. She scanned the area one last time for Bruce Buller, but the effort was fruitless. Frustration accosted her, as well as a pang of grief. She was hoping to speak to Mr. Buller about buying back the land her grandfather, Fred Lewin, had sold to him before she was born. It was a desire that plagued her since his death 6 months ago. It didn't look as though the task would be accomplished tonight. She held fast against the sharp strike of grief that always followed thoughts of her grandfather. The outdoor wedding had been the perfect cover to make a trip to Havencrest and casually run into Mr. Buller. What a disappointment the night had been. Daisy blew at one of her loose curls. She hated parties, though she'd looked forward to seeing Logan Miller, one of her dearest friends. There were 10 or so tables set up in a half circle, with the bride and groom's table at the front. Daisy noticed a middle-aged man and woman staring and pointing at her. Really? Could they be any more rude? She'd become accustomed to being at the center of gossip. She turned her back to the couple, disregarding them. They could stare. Nothing she could do about it. It wasn't a crime. Detaching herself from the party, Daisy walked off toward the back of the house and settled beside a magnificent willow tree. Long, thin branches with green finger-like leaves skimmed her ivory skin as they swayed in the soft summer breeze. The sun sank behind distant mountains and cast a soft glow over the Verbeck and Miller lands. She wanted to reach out and touch the beauty of the mountains. The scent of pine, hay, and earth filled her nostrils, conjuring memories of her grandfather's small farm in Elkview about 2 hours south of here. The scent was such a nice change from the stagnant air in her office building. There was more to life than work. At 33, she should be enjoying life, but work was the only thing keeping her from falling apart over the return of her father and the loss of her grandfather. Tall evergreens marched across the mountains, shoulder to shoulder. Surrounding the golden plains of the flatland, the trees held the valley captive. Logan and the Verbecks were very lucky to be blessed with such a homestead. You could hide from the world in a place like this, and that was exactly what she intended to do, if she could find Mr. Buller. As she sipped her champagne, Daisy spotted the oldest Verbeck, Cole, spinning the new Mrs. Verbeck around the dance floor. Bethany Verbeck looked lovely in a silken lace wedding gown. She had class and a subtle elegance. She was positively glowing tonight. The couple beside them snagged her attention. It was funny to think that a gangly ranch hand could transform into such a stud. Logan Miller was having a great time with his wife, Emma, formerly Emma Verbeck. She was radiant as she glided around the dance floor with her husband, every now and then teasing her brother and his bride. Logan was a lucky man to have attained the attention of such a woman. And a doctor to boot. Daisy shook her head in amused disbelief. A much younger Logan sprang to mind. Not having much to do over the summers she spent with her grandfather in Elkview, she'd noticed him right away out working Mr. Clay's ranch. His property butted up against her grandfather's small farm. The houses were less than 5 acres apart, so she'd snuck over to meet him. Only 13 at the time, Logan stood tall, strong, and dirty. She'd scooted away from him because he smelled of cow poo. When her hazel eyes met his green ones, she saw that they were haunted by a deep sadness. The sadness reached into her and cut open her heart. The next day, she made it her personal mission to befriend him. It had taken weeks of silly pranks and constant harassment from her before they became friends. Once Logan accepted her branch of friendship, he became the brother she'd never had. After that, she looked forward to sharing every summer that followed with Logan.